will not get involved in the internal disputes of its alliance partner. It cannot behave like a disinterested observer. The party's Blade Nzimande also says the SACP will engage NUMSA, that's Cosatu's largest affiliate, on its reckless statements in the wake of Cosatu General Secretary Zwelinzima Vavi's suspension. NUMSA has been a vocal supporter of Vavi and has accused some SACP leaders of being part of a plot to sow division in the federation. And to tell us more and to perhaps give us a little bit more clarity, we're joined in studio by SACP Deputy General Solly Mapaila. Good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live. Is Cosatu divided? I mean, how bad is this division?
Well, I think there's a process inside Cosatu. They've picked up problems, political, ideological and organizational, that they're trying to sort out. But we can say to the extent that there's internal divisions, but of course there are political problems there. But we are glad that the organization is having a focused view to resolve these problems. But to the extent that in the process of resolving this, there's been accusation even against us, which we deny absolutely because we're not involved at all. But also you will remember that many communists are serving inside Cosatu in different capacities. And also the Communist Party itself has given its own life over 8 decades of building a strong, progressive trade union movement and fighting for worker rights. So we can't be a bystander when what we have built for over these years has been disintegrated. That's why we want to have an engagement with the Cosatu affiliates.
All right. What would you say is at the center of this division? Is it all centered around Vavi's suspension due to the sex scandal, or is there more to it?
No, the sex scandal is not an issue. I mean, it came quite late. In fact, as weekend reports have indicated, it has nothing to do with internal union matters. The real issues were there before the sex scandal. As you know, the Cosatu has processed a discussion inside itself through the CEC, through a process that is headed by former president of SAMU, Comrade Mashishi, and I think Comrade Nupen. They are dealing with that particular process. That is a broad process, political as well as ideological. Ideological in the sense of Cosatu's orientation to the struggle in South Africa, which in our case, we feel somehow deviate from the Congress tradition. The Congress tradition is about the liberation forces that were led by the African National Congress, which has developed its own approaches and almost systems of handling political matters, both internal and external.
Yeah. Now, we've seen that NUMSA has been very vocal. The SACP, however, has chosen to remain very quiet, largely quiet. Why? Why have you taken this stance?
Yeah, partly because we are being accused on the one hand by forces that want to use that as a bait to participate in internal divisions inside Cosatu, and we're not interested in in participating in those divisions. We seek to build unity in Cosatu. We think that a united Cosatu unites the alliance and can also fight capital, but a divided Cosatu cannot do that. So to the extent that we are not taking up the bait, we know that we have infuriated many people for that, but it's our responsibility not to allow these petty things to divert us from playing a strategic role of unifying Cosatu. If we accept that bait of playing a divisive role inside Cosatu, then we will not be able to play a strategic role of uniting the federation, which is currently what is our primary mission.
Yeah, I mean, the SACP has been quoted as saying that NUMSA's public statements are reckless. Is that still the stance? Still
of course.
Reckless?
Yes, of course, we feel that, but we've also resolved to meet with them. So I'll be processing a formal communication with them for a proper discussion. But we think that to the extent that the issues, unsubstantiated statements in public are taking us or even are taking other unions inside Cosatu, it's an alliance. It's not the way we operate. Also, it's quite hostile. It's not like they're destructive. So we don't want something like that to happen because we want constructive criticism, engagement inside the organization, but not criticism that destroys. There's hostility sometimes in their statement, which we feel it's not right.
Now, we heard Blade Nzimande speaking yesterday and basically saying that all these divisions are not really helping the employees. What does he mean by this?
Well, what it means is that big capital, for instance, takes advantage of this. In fact, in our statement, the first section, we have dealt with the economic matters, and we have linked the current problems in South Africa with the problems that it faced Europe economically, and how the mining houses in Europe, in our case, for instance, in South Africa, represented one by Lone Mill, even by South African capital that has now left South Africa to Europe, like Anglo-American, have used this particular space to divide workers. And at the end of the day, it's not it's the workers who loses out, because, for instance, we will know that even from the process of Long Min, several workers have since lost their jobs. And this has happened in other a few mining houses, and they are taking advantage of these divisions inside the union. But if the unions are strong, they're able to lodge a relentless fight against exploitation at the workplace.
Yeah. Now, just, some of the leaders in the SACP have been accused by NUMSA as being a part of a ploy to sow divisions within, to sow division as to what we're seeing here within Cosatu. How true is this?
It's not true, absolutely. I mean, they can't give you a shred of evidence to back up their claims. It's just hearsay. I mean, for instance, the Weekend Report, for instance, say on the sex scandal, there were propositions to the extent that this is perpetuated by some members inside the Federation. But now evidence has come out that actually it's not the case. It's actually a recommendation from Mr. Fontaine, who was handling the matter and who was an external person who was brought in. So because of these tensions, and when there's lack of proper discussions, any rumors can actually attain strategic proposition and be circulated inside to cause divisions. But we want to say that we need a united Cosatu, particularly on the eve of Alliance Summit, Economic Summit, which will also contribute to the shaping of the Alliance Manifesto that the ANC will contest the elections with. So we can't allow these unnecessary divisions to take root.
Yeah, all right. Let's leave it there for this morning. Thanks very much for talking to us here on Morning Live.